Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our departmental parking representative training. Everybody online, can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Yes, okay, thank you. So we are going to first start off by telling you that this session is being recorded. We want to be able to have the information contained and captured so that we can post it online for everybody who was unable to join us yesterday or today, but also give it to you as a reference if you need to go back to it, okay? So just heads up on that. My name is Darla Guerra. I am the manager with customer service, and with us today we have Chastity Pecos and Michelle Miller, and of course Lynn Wiggs as well. And so Chastity is our DPR point of contact for you. She is the one that probably most of you know her name as far as needing to get departmental permits, needing to add new DPRs, needing additional access, mail stops changed, everything like that. She is your go-to. Michelle is one of the young ladies up front that you and your employees get to see when you come in. She helps handle all of your new employee parking requests and getting those processed, and of course selling when you come in. So that's who's with us today, and they are our resident subject matter experts. So if you have questions along the way, we'll help you out with that. But what we want to accomplish today is really focus in on our business and campus permits in the new virtual world, okay? Because I know that's what really everybody is most interested in. And so we're going to get you through all of that. We're going to explain how it works. We understand that this is a change, and we understand that everybody loves change. But we have worked very hard to make this as user-friendly and intuitive as possible. We've given a facelift, if you will, to the DPR page that you are all accustomed to make it just a little more obvious where you need to go to do the things you need to do. So we are going into this understanding that change is change, understanding that we are going to have some bumps in the road, and wanting to make sure that y'all understand that we are going into this with you as your partner. We are here to help you, answer your questions, assist you the best that we can. We have tried to think of every obstacle that can come our way, but we all know we have not hit them all. So as we come upon new things, just reach out to us and we will work to find solutions and help you get through it, okay? So a couple things, what we're gonna do is we have, we're gonna give you some information. We are going to share with you what the new DPR page is going to be looking like. And we're going to use that to kind of walk you through some of the steps as far as how you would purchase a business permit, how you would assign the business permit, how you would update license plates and custodians on your campus or departmental permits, okay? So we're gonna help you through all of that. We have a lot of information that we wanna share with you. So if everybody can kind of hold questions until the end, I think we will answer them all. That is our goal, is that you go, you did it all. But at the end, there will be, of course, time for question and answer. So if we don't get to something that you want to know, please jot it down and we'll make sure to answer it at the end. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so what is new this year? Permits are virtual this year. Yay! There is only a handful of permits that will be issued in a physical form this year. And so it's going to be interesting. It should be good times. I think once everybody gets accustomed to it and we kind of find our rhythm and what works best for each individual department, unit, college, you're going to find that this is a lot easier. It's a lot less, how do I get this to somebody? How do I get it back? And there's a lot less, okay, this person is no longer with us and they took their permit with them, and now we have to go through a whole lost stolen process. A lot of that has been eliminated. And so I think you will find that it is an easier, more efficient process, okay? So we just have to kind of go into it with that mindset. Difference between business and campus permits, just to clarify. So a business permit, if you will, is an accessory. That's how I figured out how to say it. Is an accessory to an existing, sorry, I should have gotten myself water. Sorry. She wants to play with the fridge. Sorry, y'all. Thank you. Sorry, in your face. Okay, start again. So it's an accessory to an existing permit. Okay. It's used in tandem. A campus permit is designed to be used by an individual or individuals who are not housed on campus. They're off-site somewhere, but they still have the need to come to campus for various reasons and have to have the ability to park, okay? So that is our primary difference between what is a business permit, what is a campus permit. Sorry. So what does the plus this year mean? So I know probably a lot of you have heard the business, business plus, campus, campus plus. What we have done is we have taken the permit and we have broken it out, so to speak, to allow you to kind of figure out what your needs are and to purchase based on what those needs are. So a business permit is going to give you access to park in business designated lots or spaces, okay? Again, used in addition with your business, with your permit. So it's going to give you that access. The business plus is going to give you the same access to those business designated lots and spaces, ungated facilities, if you will, but it will also give you access to your gated facilities. Okay, so if you have individuals who need to park in UCG on a regular basis for meetings, conferences, things like that, you would need to purchase the business plus. If you don't, if they just go to 55 or 54 for meetings or whatever, then you don't need the plus option. You can just stick with your business option. You can purchase varieties of both. Okay, so it's up to you. What do you need? What works for you? What works for your unit? What works for your department? Campus and Campus Plus follow that same pattern. So that Campus Plus is going to give you your ungated access. So those, and we have the map pulled up for you to see. So everything that's maroon right now is on that business map. Those are your areas where you can park with a business or a campus permit. And so again, lot or space, depending on how they're designated. But with that plus, it is now going to give you the access to the gated facility. Okay. So in the past, if you had a business permit, you had access to it all. But we have made it to where the cost matches what the use and the access is. Okay. And if y'all have anything to chime in. Okay. Okay. All right. So making sure we're covering all our bases. Okay. So when to buy, because I know everybody's wondering. So business permits, as you know, were not renewable this year. They will go on sale Wednesday, August 4th, which is next Wednesday already. So we are to August. So Wednesday, those will go on sale. And again, you have that ability to purchase the combination of what you need. Permits are virtual. So if you want to scale back and start with fewer, you can absolutely do that. And then if you decide halfway through, you know what, this isn't working, I really need like 3 more, you go in, you purchase it, they're assigned, done, you have your permits. And they're on your account and you have access to them. So as opposed to having to wait for things to get mailed or printing receipts and everything like that, you have instant access as soon as it's processed. Campus permits, I know that you were able to renew your campus permit, but I know we had individuals who didn't necessarily want to renew for what it was trying to auto renew them. They maybe wanted the plus or they wanted the standard option, or they want to purchase additional at this time. August 1 will be when you have that functionality. August 1 is a Sunday, so probably Monday the 2nd is when most of you will show up online. But just know that campus permits, you can start purchasing additional ones or different options of it starting August 1. Business plus permits will go on sale Wednesday, August 4th. What is the price of these permits? Because I know you're all wondering this. So the business permit is the business, sorry y'all, I don't know what is going on. The standard business permit, which is your surface lots and spaces, is going to be the $43 for the year. If you want that business plus, which again is your surface lots and spaces and your gated facility, you're looking at $98. A campus permit is going to be $339. And if you want that campus plus option, it will be the $546. Go with me still? Everybody hanging in there? Online, y'all hanging in? They're writing hard. So the cost again, so for a business is 43. For the business plus, it will be 98. For a campus permit, it'll be 339. And for the campus plus, it'll be 546. So the next part of that question, so if you are considering purchasing your business plus or your campus plus, the next kind of part of that question is, well, how do my employees access it? Sorry, y'all. So that if your employee has a permit, a personal permit that is in a gated facility, the same way that they access their facility is what they'll be able to use to access the business facilities with their business plus. Okay, so if I park in a garage, I have my staff ID that I'm able to use. I will have an access device that I'm able to use, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Or I have a hands-free access, which can be my toll tag, like if I have a Texas Authority, Harris County type of thing, toll tag, or I can get an A&M issued hands-free. And we'll kind of run through all that here in just a second. But those access devices that I use for my personal facility will also work for any facility I'm accessing using a business plus business plus. Okay. If your employee parks in an ungated facility, so they just drive over to 50 and they park and they're set, but they have that option to use business plus, well, how do they access it? They will be able to access it using their staff ID, or if they have a toll tag, they will be able to connect that toll tag to their account. We'll be able to activate it for them, or they can purchase a hands-free access device from us. Campus plus, it's a little more because these are individuals who they don't park on campus regularly. So they're not in a gated facility or ungated facility. We have individuals who use campus permits who may not even have a staff ID that's A&M main campus issued. So what they will do is they can use their staff ID if they have an A&M staff ID. They can also connect a toll tag, or they can connect a hands-free device that they purchase from us. But the campus permit will also come with those access devices. What is the access device? Let's go ahead and cover that. So when you, as an employee, purchase a permit for a gated facility, you this year will receive an access device. This access device is going to look similar to the current hang tags that we have. You can hang it, you can throw it in your console, whatever. It does not have to be displayed, but it is a way for you to scan at the reader when you enter a gate and it'll open for you, okay? So the cool thing about the access devices are, one, they do not expire. So if I am issued one this year for my Polo Road, next year, I keep the same access device and I continue on. If next year I move to Central Campus Garage, my access device goes with me. So you don't have to turn it in, you don't have to exchange it, you just keep it and it keeps moving with you. If I turn in my Polo Road and I move out to Lot 51, which is now an ungated facility, we are going to allow employees to keep their access device. It's tied to your permit. So if you're in a surface lot, your access device is basically kind of dead in the water. However, if you are assigned a Business Plus permit, you can use your access device with that Business Plus permit. So it's a good rule of thumb. If you have your access device, just hold on to it. And then for those Campus Plus individuals, they will receive them along, if you're the custodian, you're the DPR, and you've ordered 5 Campus Plus permits, when you order those, you are going to receive access devices for those Campus Plus permits, and you'll be able to kind of use those as an access device for your employees if necessary. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. Anything that I overlooked or forgot about? No, we're doing good so far. Okay. So now we're going to go online, and we're going to start kind of walking through the how-tos. Okay. So if you are looking on the screen, we actually have our new DPR page showing for you. And again, we gave it a facelift, and we tried very hard to make this user-friendly. We tried to spell out what everything is so there's no guessing. What does that mean? Oh, I need to change my custodian. Guess what? I update custodian on permit. So we tried to think and do what would make it easiest. So hopefully y'all will all agree that the changes we've asked for are better. But we'll go in here, and then to purchase your business permit, we're going to click on, sorry, I was on page attention. You go under the business permit section. So we even broke it out to where we tried to, okay, for a business permit, this is it. For your departmental permits, this is it. If you need registration information, and we put it all together for you so that you're not having to scroll up and down trying to find what it is you're looking for. And that was kind of our older standard that we had in there. So anything you need business permit related should be in those 3 tabs for you. And so we clicked on purchase business, and it takes you to a screen that should look very familiar to you. And you'll put what kind of permit you want. Do you want the business or a business plus? You'll be able to choose your department. Sorry, it's not all completely live yet because we're not selling them yet. And then you can do your custodian at this time. Most everybody is putting themselves as the custodian because it's going to pull up on your list in your DPR page, and you'll be able to assign and everything like that. But you can assign your custodian, how many you need, and then you can, of course, put your system part code and account number on there. And then just a little, I acknowledge that this is just for the year. So, and if you're looking at the 25-page handout that online received, we're starting at page 11. So you can kind of glance there. And that way, if you want to write notes or kind of see where we're at, that's where we're starting. So that'll be the purchase part. So then if you want to assign, so you've purchased a variety of business and business plus permits, okay? How do I get that to my employee? How do I make this work? So you will go back under your business permit, and you're going to basically assign business to employee, okay? And in here, it is going to list all of your employees who have a current valid A&M ID, okay? Again, just as a reminder, do what, I'm sorry? Valid permit, sorry, thank you. Again, just as a reminder, these business permits can only be used in tandem with an active A&M permit, okay? You cannot assign a business permit to an employee who does not have a personal permit of their own. Additionally, you cannot assign a business permit to more than one person, okay? So you do have the ability to assign it to someone and leave it with them for the year, or you can juggle it around if you have a set number that you check in and check out like we have done in the past. So instead of it being a physical hand it to them, it's a virtual click the button, okay? So we pull up our list and we go, okay, Bill Alverson needs a business permit. So I click the little business radio button right there, and it pulls up a list of all the accessible permits that I have purchased that I have available. And it'll show you if it's a business, will you show them, so like a business right there, or it'll show you if it's a business plus. And so it'll be the BBU, so the second column, yeah, right there. So you can identify which ones you have because I recognize that different employees have different needs. We all have the special people that we cater to that need, we got that, so we've got you covered. And so you just click on what business permit you're giving Bill Alverson, and you're going to assign selected business permit.
This is our test site.
This is our test site, yeah.
A few little glitches, and we apologize for that.
So go ahead and close out. So when you have it assigned, like if you look at Danny Archibek down there, you'll see Danny has this business permit, blah, 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 okay? If I want to go in and remove it from him, I just click on that radio button again, and I remove his business permit. His access to business park and business surface lots or spaces, okay, it was just a little slow, has now been removed. So it's that simple. It is literally the click of a button to add and remove. So that's as simple as we can make it. And so there we are. Now, one of the cool things that Faye created for us was, and we already had it, but I think it's a lot clearer now, is that view business report. This is going to show you again all of your current available business permits. And on the right-hand side, it shows you what you have assigned to who. And so it makes it really nice because if you're trying to track or you're trying to locate where that permit went or who maybe had it, this is where you can go and figure it out. If you have an issue, somebody maybe was misusing their business permit and y'all got the email going, hey, this person is, misusing their business permit and this is the warning kind of thing. And you're trying to figure out who had it because, now we're changing, shifting, all that. We don't have a recorded log. If you click on that on the left-hand side, if you click on the permit number, yep, on the left-hand side, yep, it is going to give you your permit assignment history. So then you can go back and look and see when did they assign it, when did I remove it, who did it, who had it, and everything like that. So that will be your now paper log, if you will. So that is your business permit. And like I said, we tried very hard to make it simple, as simple as we could. And then for campus permits, because I know everybody's got some of those probably running around as well. If you go into your departmental parking and go to your department permits, up one. Yep. This is going to list out for you all of your departmental permits that you have available. Okay, so all of your now campus permits. Currently, when you look at this report, you'll see all of them. You'll see your campus, your business, your everything. They're two separate entities, and so we have broken them out accordingly. Okay, so your campus permits are now here under your departmental permits. And if you go ahead and on Chris Harris, if you'll click his license plate, this is where you can add and remove a license plate. Because remember, license plates are what? They are key to everything. Everything is license plate driven. And so we've got to make sure we have that attached to them. So again, trying to make it as simple as possible, we've given you all of your options right here on the permit itself. So you click on the license plate and we can add a license plate. So we can add a license plate to this permit for so-and-so.
Favorite one.
And you can add an end date. So if you are only giving this campus permit to somebody for 2-day use because they're coming in for a conference, you can expire it after. And then now it's linked. If you need to remove somebody because you don't necessarily want them using it any longer, that's expired, maybe they're no longer with you, all you do is remove that permit, remove that license plate from the permit. So as you can see on your campus permits, you can have more than one license plate attached to it. It's going to be our recommendation and best practice that you only link one license plate to your campus permit at a time. The reason being is you can absolutely juggle and say, okay, I've got this one's assigned to these 3 people, this one's assigned, and I know that this person's here on Monday, this person's here on Wednesday. You absolutely, if you have kind of some continuity that you can kind of plan ahead, you can use it accordingly. But if you are going to be just checking in, checking out, random meeting here, X conference there, it's going to get confusing and it's going to get easy to end up having 2 license plates on the same permit. They're both on campus and somebody's getting cited because it's still one permit, one vehicle. Okay, so that's ultimately what we want to make sure we remember. And so it's up to you. You know your business practice and process is the best. So if you have that standard continuity, you can use it where you have the 3 license plates on there. But our recommendation is going to be that you use the 1 license plate, add, remove, and just kind of assign accordingly. You don't have to have a license plate attached to it at all right now. While it's not in use, you can just remove it. That's up to you as well. Okay. And then the last piece is how to change a custodian on a permit. So again, under your departmental parking, if you go to the update custodian on permit, this is where you can change or, adjust if needed. So for some, you may have a custodian who is, this campus permit or business permit, it's going to be theirs for the full year, but then they end up terminating. And so you need to go in and change who the custodian is on that or who's the responsible party for it. And you can do it through this page right here. Same as this page should not look different. It's just kind of in a new place. It's got a little new home. Okay, so that is our spiel. And we got about 26 minutes taken through all of that. And so now what we'll do is start opening it up for questions. And so that way we can we'll walk back through the different screens and just kind of answer and help you out as we can. Those of you who are on Zoom with us, if you will chat your questions, Lynn is checking them and watching those, and then in person. And so we'll just kind of take turns and get your questions answered. Okay. All right. So
The first one is that I think we should get to first is
Okay.
somebody had to join the training late, so they would like us to go back over what a business and a business plus is.
Okay, sure. So a business permit is, again, used in tandem with a current active A&M permit, but it will give you access to park in surface or ungated lots and spaces that are designated as business parking. So if you look at the UB map, it's going to show you in maroon what all those are. This map is going to be updated when our Business Plus permits are active, and you will see gated facilities in a different color, okay? So business, ungated, surface lot, and or space as designated. This Business Plus is going to give you access to those same surface lots and spaces, but it will also, in addition, give you access to business designated gated facilities. Okay, so most of our garages are business parking. So that's what it will give you additional access to. So
Sarah says, we have 2 business permits for our department, so we cannot assign out one permit to an employee for a meeting location across campus for the day. Employees must have an additional personal permit.
Yes.
yes, so a business permit is only used in tandem as an accessory, if you will, to a current permit. So I can't just go use a business permit, whether I'm housed off campus. I mean, if you're on campus, you should have a permit, because how else are you parking? But if I'm off campus, I can't be handed or assigned a business permit and park on campus. Business permits can only be assigned to employees who have an active, valid permit. So if you have an employee that doesn't have a personal permit, then we have other options, and that would be things like, you can talk about validation. If they want to park in a garage, you can help validate their parking in those garages. And by getting those validation tickets, you can purchase departmental guest parking permit passes for the day. So there are other options that we can help you out with for individual situations that might be a little unique.
Chris asks, can multiple business permits be assigned to one individual?
No, sir. So they'll all be on your list, and I'm looking at the screen as if you can see me, but they'll all be on your list, and you can only assign that business permit to one employee at a time. But I mean, you can assign it to them for that morning meeting, and then go in and unclick it and turn around and put it right onto somebody else. And it's a matter of minutes before it's totally assigned and eligible for them to be used. And that's just the data feed time to get it pushed over to it. But if I had a business permit assigned to me, when I leave Polo, by the time I got to UCG, that business permit would be active and I'd be able to enter and go from there. Business Plus, let me clarify that. I had my Business Plus added to me, then I'd be able to access UCG.
So having said that, those business permits can have nobody assigned to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. You can have them just sitting empty until you're ready to use them and give them to somebody.
Snow asks, will we have the ability to set up reoccurring permit checkouts, or will it only allow the permit to be used one event at a time?
If I'm understanding, so reoccurring, so like this person has a standard meeting every Wednesday morning that you would want them to have the business permit for. Right now, we do not have any kind of reoccurring schedule built in. It's something we could put in as a request to see if that's feasible, doable. I'm not a developer, so I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm not promising anything. I've learned my lesson. We appreciate that. So our developer manager is in here, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not promising anything. So, but I can absolutely put it in as a request. Not,
But know that the business
But that's a great
permit
idea.
stays assigned to the individual until you take it off.
yes,
That's what I was gonna ask.
Doesn't have to be one event.
I mean, if
No.
we didn't have an expiration like you, like this time.
Only the campus permit has an expiration date. The business permit does not.
Right.
So it stays with them until you remove it. Amanda says the employee permit is a parking permit. What if our employee don't have campus parking permits because we office off campus?
so you would not need a business permit at that time. You would need a campus permit. And you can do campus or campus plus. Again, the campus is going to give you the ungated lots and spaces, or the campus plus will give you those same ungated and your gated access. You can, if you are housing off campus, you can purchase 3 and you can assign them to the individual as needed. When we were off campus, we had I think 5, and we just would check them in and out as needed as you had an event on campus. Same thought process. It's just now a virtual check-in. You would go to departmental permits. You would go to your department permit. You'll click on the campus, the permit number you're interested in, and then on the license plate, sorry, no, you're good. On the license plate, you would click it, and that's where you'll be able to basically check it out to an employee. So by adding their license plate, you are checking it out, and then you can remove it from them when they return it to you or when they're back. Does that kind of answer your question?
You might encourage your employees to take a picture of their license plate. So when you need to check out a permit to them, you can look at that picture and make
Yes.
sure you get it entered correctly.
That is a good practice to get into. I think almost all of us have pictures of our license plates on our phones now.
So along the same lines, we have been using the virtual piece out at Relish. We have
Yes.
what we've encountered, especially with day passes, is that people will need to bring a different car than they've reported to us. And
Yes.
they tell us, but by 9 a.m. and they've already gotten a ticket. So I can't tell you how many contested tickets we've had just this summer. And people that, fly into the airport and rent a car, they don't know.
Right.
So that's, I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yes,
And
and that is a really good point for guests and visiting, is that it's just going to have to be practice until we get in the habit and we get them in the habit. Because I know y'all have done a great job, because you do have the ones who are like, oh, here's my license plate, or here I've got a rental. And so I think with time, and again, we are going in knowing that this year is going to come with some challenges and some hiccups and some obstacles that we have not yet faced. So we're going into it, I think, wide-eyed and aware, but absolutely know that there's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some people who get tickets that maybe they're warranted, maybe they aren't. But, the appeal process is a fantastic resource where they get a chance to state their situation and let it go through a process and see if we can get it voided or reduced or whatever for them. But that's a really good point.
Susan asked, we have a department spot in a surface lot. Will we need to assign license plates to that spot when we have visitors?
Good question. Thank you for asking that one. So departmental visitor spaces and departmental reserved numbered spaces are not going to change how they are monitored this year.
Departmental reserved numbered spaces are not departmental guest spaces.
But that would be departmental visitor.
Yes.
Did I not say both? I may or may not have. So
If it's just a departmental RNS, reserved numbered space, yes, the license plate must be. If it is designated as a departmental visitor space, a license plate does not need to be entered this year.
So, okay, we have a spot.
So what's the difference there if they have the sign up or what?
Correct. If it's a sign that says departmental visitor space, that one does not need a license plate this year.
So ours just says like engineering and the spot number. So
So
we're,
that's a visitor space.
okay.
So
Okay.
you will continue to monitor that. You'll continue to determine who can park there. And if somebody's parked there inappropriately, you'll let us know. But what we've been telling everybody is go ahead and get in the habit of asking your guests for their license plate. The reason being, it'll get them in the habit of being asked, and it'll get you in the habit of being asked, so that if next year we approach this differently and we say, okay, now we're, need license plates, you'll already be in the habit of it. So just good practice, go ahead and start asking.
Those
for it
will
this year.
definitely need expirations because we'll have people in and out all day long.
Yeah, oh, yes,
People will be doing
absolutely.
nothing but staying in DPR and not getting other work done.
Yeah, right, just full-time position.
May I ask a follow-up to that? How, those of us who do not have departmental reserve spaces, we're off campus.
Mhm.
When our folks go to campus, say like to the Donald L. Houston building, I know there are signs there, but I don't know what those signs say because I'm not there that often. What, and you mentioned it would say visitor, departmental visitor, but if it's just reserved for College of Engineering or whatever it says, that's what we need to pay attention to, is what those signs say. Okay.
Pam says, we have a faculty member that is dual employed with engineering and has a parking permit with engineering. Last year, we purchased a business permit over here since you couldn't have more than one current permit. You have more than one campus permit for two different lots?
No, you cannot. It's still one permit, one valid A&M permit for the employee. You still cannot have multiple lots or multiple permits for different lots.
Gina asked, can you please go over the business permit screens again?
Yes, we sure can. So we'll start again just with the purchase, and we'll just kind of show all of them. So the purchase permit shouldn't look very different to you. You should be pretty familiar with it. The difference will be when you click the choose a permit type, it'll ask you if you're purchasing business or business plus. And then you just fill out the appropriate information and then submit it. And then we'll process it and get those added to your account. Then if you want to assign a business permit to any employee, this is going to give you the list of all of your employees who have a current active permit that are eligible to have a business permit awarded to them or used by them. And you just click on the little icon, pulls up your list of available business permits. And it'll designate on here if it's a business or a business plus. So the business is just BBU, and the business plus will be the BBU plus. Where am I? I've lost it. BUS. Where am I? Oh, we don't have any on here. We just purchased all business plus. We were playing. So it'll designate on here if it's a
Bus at the
BB.
end?
Huh?
You have a B bus at the
Do I
end.
have, oh, there you are, an A bus. Okay, so yeah, so it'll be on there to identify business or business plus. And then you just click which one you want to assign, click the button, give it a second, and now it'll show that it's been assigned to them, and it'll show you which permit number they have currently awarded to them.
So should we put all of the permits in our names and then go back in and add the custodian? Or is that better?
It probably is, but for the business permits, because if you have a custodian that's going to have it for the whole year, you could go ahead and assign it. But if they're changing in and out, I would leave it just under mine and just attach it to their permit as needed. But I would leave myself as the custodian. That way I get all of the notifications. I get any kind of misuse reports. They all come to me so that you can handle it and you can control it. And you're not getting permits that are deactivated and you never knew. So I would, for the most part, leave myself as the custodian.
And then just assign it? to them? Okay.
Just assign it to them, and now it's connected to their business permit, or sorry, connected to their permit.
But I'll still get emails.
Yes, ma'am.
And they'll get emails.
If there's any kind of business
Miss that.
issue, yeah.
Can you have another person like help assign ones that are for the department, like where they check them in and out?
So for the campus permits and everything,
Yeah, I feel like, well, ours would just be business.
so we we had talked so much about business permits, and so we do have it set up where you can assign individuals to help you check in and out business permits that are not DPRs. They don't have access to the rest of the pages. They can't return, purchase, they can't do any of that for you. But they will be able to help you get some of that part taken care of. I don't know if we did that for campus, but I think it's a pretty easy fix because we've done it for the departmental guest permits. So where you can have individuals who help you go in and purchase the departmental guest permits. So it's under the same
I was
category.
gonna say, can you show us where we would add those extra individuals?
Is it a request to you or do they do it themselves?
Well, they're just gonna be added as a DPR because, I mean, we don't have that.
We do. So like right now, if they just do departmental guest permits, then that's all they have access to. So you would go in and under departmental user, which I don't think they'd have access to that. Sorry to go back.
We would
Good.
have, we would have access to that, right?
It's the.
This
the
one,
request
right?
form.
So
Yes.
we have access to departmental user. I'm on the site right now.
There you go. So you have if you want them to actually, to add a new DPR, if you want to grant DPR admin access, or if you want to remove somebody. But then I would just, in the questions, comments, just put that you're wanting them to only have access to assigned business permits or assigned departmental permits. And we have another little radio button that we can give them. It's a permission level. And we'll just give them that permission level and that'll be all they have.
So is it all the business permits or just a few?
It'll be all business permits. So they'll have access to that whole list. And they'll be able to remove and
But they couldn't
assign.
purchase or anything.
No, ma'am.
Right.
No, ma'am.
Tanya says, so if we have normally had 4 business permits that we sign out to different staff as needed to go to meetings on campus, and then they bring them back and check them back in. So now for the Business Plus, how can we do that? Would we have to change the license plate each time someone uses it?
So no, so the Business Plus, it really is, because I've had a chance to play with it, so I've got a little bit of a advantage. But when I tell you that it mirrors your check-in and check-out process, that is what it does. So we had a binder, you filled it out, you took the permit, you came back, you put it in, and you signed that you had returned it. So the difference is that they, as the employee, don't have the ability to just walk up to the binder and check it out and take it. Somebody is going to have to do that piece for them. And that's, again, where you can kind of help assign, who do you have that's going to kind of help buffer that for you. But they'll walk up to that person and say, hey, I've got a meeting, today at 2, I'm going to need my business or a Business Plus. And you'll go into the screen and you're going to go to your business permit and you're going to go to your assigned business employee. You're going to find their name on your list and you're going to click the little icon next to their name, pull up your list of available business and Business Plus permits, and you're going to assign what you want them to have. So you want them to have business or Business Plus, you just click it, assign the selected business permit, and now they have it. Okay. Now they come back at 5 o'clock or the next day and they're back and they're checking it back in. They can it's going to be up to you how you,
Monitor
what
it.
your process is. But we could have them come back to the desk and say, okay, I'm back, and check it back out. And then you'll go back to the same business permit, assigned business to employee, and then you're going to click on their name and you're just going to hit remove. And now it's checked back in. Now it's back in my queue of available business permits.
So I know this sounds silly, but just for visual purposes, you have so many on your example there.
Right.
Let's say I have 5.
Mhm.
And somebody's got one checked out. So then it will list only 4 if another person comes over, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Everybody that has access to this page is going to see the exact same information real time. So if I click it and they're going to try to click, it's going to tell you, oh, this permit's already been assigned. Or if you're both trying to do, Matt Carpenter at the same time, it's going to tell you that Matt Carpenter has already been assigned this permit. So there's some checks and balances so that, one, you can't give a business permit, multiple business permits to one person, but it'll help if you have more than one person working on stuff. So if you are doing your process through an email queue or whatever you decide works for you.
Okay.
Jamie says, can you explain Campus Plus again?
Sure. So again, the campus permits are designed for people who do not house on campus. So they don't park here every day. They just have a need to come in from time to time. And so that campus or campus plus are permits that you're going to have that allow them to come in. They will have access to lots and spaces. And if they're doing a campus plus, they will have access to lots, spaces, and gated facilities that are designated as business use. So if you'll pull the map back up. So again, right now, everything that's identified as maroon is a business facility, a business lot, or has business spaces in it. When we go live with our business plus, campus plus, there will be two colors on this map, and it'll be maroon for everything that's surface lot, and I think we said turquoise. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody? Pink. Okay, so we said pink
That's what we use.
for anything that is the plus. So they would have access to everything that's maroon and the pink gated facilities. So that campus plus is going to give you the access to everything. It'll give you the surface and the gated facilities.
I have a question on follow-up there.
Sure.
For the Campus Plus, are the access devices you mentioned previously assigned to an individual?
No, ma'am. So they will go to who the custodian is who purchased the permit. So let me take that back. So if I'm off campus
Right.
and I come here regularly, I can buy a campus permit as an individual. And so if I go in and I buy a campus permit as myself, then I get my access device. If Darla over here as DPR for transportation services, I buy 5 campus permits because
Campus Plus.
Campus Plus or Campus Plus. So then I, as Darla, the DPR, will get those 5 access devices in hand.
Random.
Yes,
Each access device is assigned to a permit.
a permit.
Uh-huh.
And
So-
so you will see that
Okay.
with the permit.
So that it's important to keep that and the device together.
Yes.
So they are tied to the individual permit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No, that was a good question.
Because I have several.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Okay.
those are
All
good
right.
questions.
Thank you.
The next 2 questions are for Lindsay and Gina. They kind of go together, so I'm going to lump them together. How do campus permits enter gated surface lots, and how do business plus permits enter gated surface lots?
Okay, so we're going to kind of start again a little bit, but if you have for Business Plus, okay, if your employee that you are awarding a Business Plus to parks in a gated facility, all of the access devices that they have available to them to get into their gated facility will also work in the business gated facility. So, okay, so I park in Polo Road, everything that's available to me to get into Polo, I can use in UCG with a Business Plus permit. And those things are going to be like my staff ID, the access device that I'm awarded because I'm parking in a gated facility, or if I've chosen my hands-free access. And that can be, you can either link your toll tag, like your Texas tech tag, if it works, if you can link that, or you can purchase a toll tag, a TAMU transcore from us. Okay, so I park in a gated facility. All of those things work with my Business Plus. Okay, if I park in a surface lot, but now I have a Business Plus added to me, and I don't have a gated facility, so I don't have any of these things. I can still use my staff ID to get in. I can still get a text tag connected to that business or to my permit so that it works with my business. Or I can purchase the A&M transfer from us. We have also talked about, if an individual has need for a Business Plus permit, that we could even give them an access device so that they have that ability to use it to get in and out of that gated facility. So those are all options that they have. The Campus Plus will work very much like a surface level person who's using a Business Plus. So I'm off campus, I have no access device, so I can use my staff ID. I can do the hands-free, either the toll tag or an A&M transfer, or I can come into the office and say, hey, I have a Campus Plus and I'm using this, can I get an access device?
Amanda asked if you will please review options for non-permitted employees. Their entire office is non-permitted.
Okay, so non-permitted, and I'll let Lynn kind of chime in here as well, but if you're off campus, your option, of course, is a campus or a campus plus permit. And again, you can purchase those and just do a check-in, check-out. When we were all off campus, that's what we did. We had the binder and we just shared. So you may kind of talk and do start with a couple and see if the check-in, check-out works. If it doesn't, we can always increase. You can always buy a variety of if you need campus or campus plus. Some of your other options are, of course, if you're going to a specific area on campus, you can do departmental guest parking passes for the day, where your DPR will go in and they'll purchase it for them. You can do validation in different garages for the day. And if you have validation questions, I am not that person, but Lynn is, so you can fire away with those. But those will be your best options if you are off campus, but you need to come on campus for a variety of reasons.
Diane wants to confirm that the only difference between a business and a business plus permit is the business plus allows you to get into a gated lot.
Yes, ma'am. A business designated gated lot.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
Okay, so first one is, how do you connect your toll tag for 2 different vehicles? Because
Okay.
he has his business,
Mhm.
but he has his own vehicle and then his wife's vehicle that he drives sometimes.
Okay, so if he has a business, so first of all, he needs to make sure on his personal permit. So if, let's say he parks in
I
54.
think north side.
Okay, so he parks in Northside. He needs to make sure on his Northside permit that he has both license plates connected to that permit.
He does.
In that permit, he can contact us, and if he has a toll tag, he can provide us those numbers and we will enter them in on his Northside permit.
Okay.
Then when you give him the business plus or whatever, those hands-frees will work in there.
Okay.
And so while we're on toll tags, so right now, if they have a toll tag that is the large square, it works in our system. It will work at our readers. They don't need anything from us except for to contact us, and we will activate that in our system. If they have the toll tag that's like a stick of gum, so it's long, slender, and rectangular, it currently does not work with our readers. Now, we are in the process of changing that and working on it. Yes, sir? Do what?
Doesn't work everywhere.
Doesn't work everywhere.
Works here.
So doesn't work everywhere. So a good rule of thumb, if they have the long rectangular toll tag, is to contact us and we can issue them the A&M transcore, which, funny enough, is long and rectangular. It works.
But they're ours.
So yeah, so.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more for a short time. So yeah, but
We're in the process of bringing
Yes.
the rest of the readers on campus to read that new toll tag.
which will be really nice. So
We'll get back.
The only thing we have to put in is their,
We just
That's
click a
your
button.
business.
all you do is click the button.
Yeah.
They're hands-free. All that is on their personal permit and is their responsibility. So the license plates being connected to Northside Garage, Polo, that is my responsibility. That is not the DPR's responsibility. And, they don't have access to, well, I could, but we're not going to go there. Yes, sir.
If I'm a DPR on the
Mhm.
DPR page and I have access to all that stuff,
You could.
you can help them.
You could. Depends on how nice you
I don't
are
know that we want to
and
set
how
that
far,
precedent.
how far you want to take this. But
so they need to put their Texas tag number in to the system.
they have to
Their
contact us.
license,
They have to contact us.
They should
So,
already put their license plate number in there.
their license plate's already in.
Yeah.
Yes, their license plates and everything like that. And they can go in
But
through their
that's
My
not-
Parking account and change that at any time.
But that's not one of the items that'll let them in, right?
The license plate, no ma'am, not this
The
time.
toll tag,
The
there's
toll
a form
tag,
on our
they'll make the
website
contact.
that they can fill
You'll
out
show
and
them the
request
tag.
for us to add it to their permit.
It'll be under my.
They're in the gated
Is it
facility,
NPA?
probably have already done it.
Yes.
It's that
They
sort of
really
that
like the
new,
hands-free.
which is, this is new, and we're glad we're able to be able to do it, is that surface parker that uses a business permit in a gated facility and has never used a toll tag to do anything on campus, now it'll work.
Yes,
As long as
Mine
we
won't
have-
work if it's the stick of gum.
we can help you. We have something.
Okay,
else.
so my second question is, we purchase business tags for a student group.
Okay.
How does that work? Does it not work anymore? I'm hoping you're saying
It doesn't work. There are some one-off worlds, so we'll talk offline
yeah. Okay.
and see what the situation is. Is business permit the proper use and function for it? And if yes, because there are some situations where it is, then we'll talk offline. We've got a couple solutions that we've been bouncing around.
Okay.
So, but yes.
She was going to the toll tag.
And it didn't let me in.
They didn't let you?
How am I gonna not get into my own account?
You've been denied.
Uh-huh.
Are you in test?
Okay,
Am I
Sarah,
interested? Oh, that's what it
we
is.
have several more questions.
Okay.
So Sarah
Find it.
says, if we have an employee who is regularly at 3 or 4 different locations on campus, should they be given a campus permit? Business parking is limited to a few hours in some locations, or can they purchase multiple permits?
So you can't purchase multiple permits. Campus permits do not give you any additional access than what the business permits give you. So if you are trying to park, whether you have a campus permit or a business permit, or Business Plus or Campus Plus, and you're trying to park in 54 or 55, the lot has business spaces only. It is not a business designated lot, and they have 2-hour time limits. And we do those with intent, because we've got to be able to allow people to get in there to park for business need. And if we don't limit it to spaces and we don't have the time limit, people will use business permits to camp there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then we don't have the access available for individuals who need it. So they can't purchase multiple permits. If they need to get around campus, then, it is, if they have a permit, it'll be a business, and they will have to just continue doing what they're doing now, is finding their alternatives to get to where they need to be for the time length that they need to be. So
And the Pillow Road Garage is business permit accessible, Business
Yes,
Plus
business
accessible.
plus accessible, yes. And the garages, those don't have time limits, so it's something to keep in mind when you're deciding what you need to purchase.
And as a side note to that, campus permits or Campus Plus permits are only sold to individuals that are not housed on campus.
Yes.
Sarah says Business Plus doesn't require an employee permit to be used, correct?
No, anything that is business or business plus must be associated to an employee's permit. So if an employee does not have a valid A&M permit, they cannot use a business permit. That is the same as it is now. So if you have an employee who does not have a business permit and they are housed off campus, then you can look at getting them a campus or campus plus permit. If they're housed on campus and they just choose not to purchase parking because they don't need it, or they carpool, or they whatever, they cannot use a business permit. They have to have a valid A&M permit to use a business permit. So that's where you might look at your departmental guest permits. You might look at parking validation for garages so that you can help that employee access the areas that they need.
Or bus service.
Or bus service, or VOs, or the new throttle bikes, if you haven't tried them, there's some interesting opportunities out there. So what Michelle has pulled up is in your My Parking account. So we had some questions about how do you request to get your toll tag activated or connected to your permit. So again, it's connected to an individual's personal permit. So they are responsible for requesting this. Oh, sorry, you have to share because you went to a new website.
Forgot.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Sorry, we'll get to you.
Where's my
But
phone?
what we, just, there you go.
Which one is it? This one.
Yeah. Okay, now? Okay, so the employee is responsible for submitting this request because it's going to tie to their personal permit. but they'll go into their My Parking account. They'll go under permits and then access method. And then this is where they're going to pull up what they are requesting. And it'll kind of walk them through and talk. There you go. And then the little frequently asked questions kind of tells you about the different, how to activate toll tags, what's accepted, what's not accepted. You see the big square, the little stick of gum. But we're really excited about getting our readers updated to where they read all of them. So I'm very excited about that. But
So
it'll be
if
tomorrow.
I need to connect all of our toll tags in the event that I would have to drive any one of the vehicles that we have, then I have to, not as a DPR, but as an employee, I go in personally to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it that we have to contact you all for?
So they'll just submit the request to us. So
Okay.
what we're doing when we get the request is we're making sure that it's the right size, that it's the right type of toll tag, text tag, Harris County, all of those to make sure that it's going to work with our readers. And then if we know that it's not, we'll contact you and we'll issue you one of the TAMU transcores in place of. So that's what we're checking on. And then we will enter it on the back end into your permit, and then it'll be hands-free for you.
Their staff ID is automatically
Yes.
set.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no other action.
No, staff IDs are easy. They're inexpensive. They've already got them. So it's a great resource to remind them that it's always, always available to them.
And license plate number really doesn't have anything to do with the business, except for they have to have it registered with their.
If they're in a surface lot, it does. That's how we know that they have access. We are gonna read that license plate with the camera and it will tell us if they're in the proper area or not.
So I might have missed this, but if we give someone assign someone a business plus permit, we don't actually have to give them the physical access device. They can use their ID as long as it's assigned, as a business plus permit is assigned to them?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. They will be able to use their ID. They'll be able to use, if they have hands-free set up, they'll be able to use their hands-free.
Only if they've already gone.
Only if
in
they've
it
done it,
and
yes.
did that.
Right. Okay,
Yes, but definitely they have options.
gotcha.
And that was actually our next question, so we will skip to the next one. Krista asked, what happens when we are out of the office and someone is needing a business permit?
So that is where it's going to be very helpful to have multiple people set up with access to that page. And so you can submit your DPR request to us, let us know who it is, their UIN, and that you're only wanting them to have access to assign and remove business permits. And then we will set them up with the appropriate access, and then they'll be able to help you out when you're gone.
How many people can you have?
Unlimited. We don't have any set number of what you can have assisting you.
How many DPRs can you have?
There's no set number. It just needs to be contained and regulated within your world so that you don't have 5 DPRs who are buying permits. And guess what? Now you've got 25 permits because everybody did it. So it's up to you and what you can control, maintain, and what works best for you. So.
Amanda asked, will the campus permit attach to a person/plate entered into the system or just a random license plate that is registered in the system?
So when you are awarding or assigning a campus permit to someone, you are going to enter a license plate for them. And that license plate is so when they are on campus and the LPR vehicle is driving through and the cameras are reading, they're going to read that license plate and they're going to say, this person has a campus permit, they're allowed to be here. If they're parked in an appropriate lot, in an appropriate space, clarifying all that. But if they go through, let's say they give you some, so that's the
It's
answer,
not a
right?
random plate. It's a
It's
plate that
Person.
is assigned to that campus permit. Sales ask, if you have a department visitor space and customers come in to buy books and then leave in about 15 to 30 minutes, And Michelle clicked something, hold on.
My bad.
And leave in 15 to 30 minutes. How would you handle that?
So if it is a departmental visitor space, right? So departmental visitor space, those will continue to be monitored and used by the department. You will continue to determine who's allowed to park there and who is not, or who you need to have cited or relocated. So departmental visitors will continue to operate as they do now.
Katie asked for the Department of Visitor Spaces, those that have reserved signs on the parking spaces. Where do we log the license plate numbers, or is this to be an internal process only still?
It'll be an internal process only still. But you, obviously already have a process and are already asking, so you're ahead of the game. But if and when this becomes a necessary part of the process, we will provide a place online for you.
And we intend for it to be a necessary process next fall. Just putting that up. So Gina wants to know, so where do you attach/remove LPs on business permits?
So you do not have to attach or remove an LP on a business permit because it's connected to an employee who already has an active permit. And what is on their active permits is the license plate that's connected. Thank you.
Thank you so much, it was useful.
Thank you. But we can show you one more time, if you don't mind. If you're in here,
Yes.
you can just add it here. So Don Bailey, and then you assign it to him and remove it from him right here. But whatever Don Bailey has connected to his permit, that's the license plate that is on file,
You take that,
on record.
scan that, and that's your.
Gina, does that answer your question? Hopefully.
Because she had.
Okay.
Pam says, since faculty member can't have 2 lot permits and they are dual employed, would we just go ahead and purchase a business permit plus permit since they over here our lot is gated?
Yes. Yeah, sorry. Yes, you would. Sorry, I whispered it as if you could hear me.
Okay, so Katie says she's out at Relish. Currently, we get a
Answered my
request.
question.
Oh,
Okay, great.
thank you.
Thank you. Chris says, just to verify, to add persons to be able to assign business permits, we will have a link departmental user and then just put in the comments that they are only to have access to assigned business permits.
Yes, sir.
Tanya says, so for our department, we would have 4 access devices for the 4 business permits we check out, and that is what we would hand our staff member if they are going to a meeting in a garage or a gated area. So Tanya, not for business permits. They will use their staff ID. Diane says, wouldn't it make sense to just buy the Business Plus, Campus Plus permits? So this way each permit the department has covers all lots to keep from having to keep up with the difference between the 2 different types of permits. Also, are there differences in the price between the business and the Business Campus Plus permits?
Yes, so that was going to be my answer, is that it's what you purchase, whether it's a Business Plus, Campus, or Campus Plus, is going to depend on what you need and what you financially want to pay for. So, because there is a price difference. So a business permit is going to be $43. A Business Plus will be $98. A campus, so again, campus are those who are not housed on campus, they're not parking here every day, would be $339 for the year, and a Campus Plus is going to be $546 for the year. So it's yeah, there's some between a Business Plus, and having to juggle and know who's what, where. But financially, it may make more sense to juggle between the 2. That's totally up to you and what works best for you.
We just wanted to be sure that we gave people 2 options and
Thank you
didn't
so much.
pigeonhole them into something that they didn't really need or want. Sarah says, for the departments that do not have an individual permit but use the department business permits, must do a day pass or a validation. This is really a hassle for directors that at times have impromptu meetings. Will this access be updated or digitalized for next year? Another question, if we are still asking drivers to carry the actual permit along with another item, access device, valid staff ID, or text tag, what is the purpose of this, as it doesn't seem streamlined but more cumbersome? I know that the license plate being scanned is the ultimate goal, but all the additional seems to be a bit much. I just don't understand the overall goal, and when is the fine-tuned process set to be a procedure?
Okay, so for departments that do not have an individual permit, but department business permits. So if you have departmental business permits,
Which they all are. Only
then,
departments
yes.
can buy a business permit or a business plus.
sorry, so I'm trying to go through her questions one by one, but those are assigned to an employee who already has a permit. So there shouldn't be an issue with them not being able to. If you have directors that are not on campus, then you could look at purchasing campus or campus plus, or they could, because an individual can buy a campus permit. But if they are on campus, they house on campus, and they just choose not to buy parking, they cannot use a business permit. And that should be the rule and regulation now as well, because it's used in tandem with a active business or an active A&M employee, active A&M permit. But if they just choose not to park and you can't use a business with them, then yes, ma'am, the other options are validation or a departmental guest permit, something, sorry, y'all. Something along those lines. So, and for campus and business, there is no physical permit. They are all virtual. They're all, the campus will be based on the license plate, and the business will be added to an employee's permit that has their license plate registered. So there is no physical permit that we're asking them to carry. The access device is just an option for them if it's easier, but they have their staff ID that they can use, and you can always work with them to get the hands-free set up, or have them put in the request to get the hands-free set up. So I don't know that they have to carry anything extra. The license plates are going to be what is running this process. So they are going to be being read and checked and pictured. And if they're not registered, if they're not attached to a campus permit, or if we enter it incorrectly, then more than likely they'll be cited, but that's what the appeals process will come in. If it was entered incorrectly or something like that, you know, there's going to be some flexibility to work with them as we enter into this world until we all get accustomed to it a little bit more. As far as the fine-tuned process, I think this year is going to be the year that we are working out and ironing out all of these little nuances that we have, understanding that every department is a little different. And so we'll have to try and help find ways to address the department needs while maintaining the integrity of the process. So I would think that, you know, by this time next year, this will be old hat for everybody. We'll have it figured out. Everybody will know what's going on. Every employee will be used to entering their license plate. They'll know how quick and easy it is to update and change it. And hopefully all of our DPRs will be comfortable knowing that it's easy to assign and unassign permits as needed. So I'm hoping that kind of answers your question. And I know
Crystal wants to know when does the new website go live?
it'll go live August 1. Is that right? That's right, yeah. August 1.
Maybe the 2nd, since that's a Monday and
True.
we don't want our developer to have to work on
True.
Sunday. Chris says, will we eventually be able to assign permits for a single date and time range that will automatically unassign the permit without us having to go into the system to unassign?
So Chris, that's a good question. So for campus permits, when you add a license plate, you can expire it. But for business, at this time, we don't have it set up that way. Somebody had asked earlier about that as well, and so I wrote it down as a wish list ticket item that I can submit for our developers to see what our options are for that, because I do think that's a valid request and a good idea.
And that is all the questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
For Campus Plus permit holders
Mhm.
who want a hands-free device, is there a charge for the hands-free device?
Yes, ma'am. So if they don't have one, or if they connect their toll tag, there's no cost.
Okay.
Because they've already done their toll tag and all that, and it's just, we have the technology where we can read it.
Okay.
But if they need one of our access devices, then it's a $15 charge
Per year?
for the year. No, not for a year, one-time use. So
One time.
one thing. So now if they change out their windshield or they try to peel it off and move it to another vehicle.
Okay, so in fact, it affixes to the.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
windshield.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. So, but as long as they have that vehicle, it's a one-time charge.
Okay. Campus Plus permit holders picked up a rental coming in because they're working at an alternate work location, coming to College Station, rental car.
Mhm.
Right now, the process is I just call you and say, we have a rental car, here's the license plate, good to go. Does that change?
Yes, ma'am. So now you just go into your departmental parking and go into your departmental permits.
Uh-huh.
You'll see your campus permits that are listed there, and you'll be able to update the plate
Okay,
right there.
okay.
Now, if it's the individual,
No, it's a
it's
department.
departmental, then yes, ma'am. So,
Go on with the individual.
so if it's an individual who owns that campus permit, then they need to go into their My Parking account and update their plate.
Okay.
So, which is, the My Parking account also got a major facelift. And so it's right there, and there's a big maroon link that says update your plate. You go to a page where you can add the vehicle and connect that license plate, or, you know, you can even remove one if you're like, oh, that's a really old vehicle. I haven't had it in 5 years. You'll be able to do that as well.
And it's a rental and you go in and you do that and your staff ID will get you in because you won't have the text tag.
Yes,
or
ma'am.
Whatever transponder.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, because your ID is still attached to that permit, and now you've connected that rental license plate to that permit. So now you've got that whole picture completed.
So Gina asked, when an office purchases an employee's lot permit and the employee is placed as a custodian, will they, the employee, be able to attach 3 LPs to their permit, or will the DPR need to continue to manage?
The custodian will be able to do it. No, they won't. The department will have to do it. Gina, you'll have to still do it because it's a departmental permit. Sorry. Fine.
Okay, we have come to the end of our questions. She says, got it, thanks. We have come to the end of our questions online. So any last questions? We know we kept y'all a little longer than
Sorry.
expected, or any more questions from in the room? Well, thank y'all very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for
Please
doing it in
reach out if
person.
you have any
Of course,
questions.
of course. Thank y'all. Bye, everybody.